Hi, I'm Nancy Shanteau, and I'm going to read to you from Access to Power, a radical approach for changing your life. I'm going to read to you from the Pig Parent chapter, and this is a section called Why Pig? And this is all about why we call our internalized oppressive voices the pig parent. Okay. When we initially hear the term pig or pig parent, many of us express a varied set of reactions, from revulsion to curiosity. Some of us complain that it makes the already difficult job of parenting even harder by demonizing aspects of parental behavior. Others say that labeling the pig with this negative term is no better than the pig itself and is inherently contradictory. Some have objected to the anthropomorphism of animals, saying that until we have a more constructive and healthy relationships with wild and domestic animals, we shouldn't drag them into linguistic distinctions about human behavior, or, in other words, pigs are nice, and we shouldn't give them a bad name. Still others say that pig is an old 1960s Berkeley radical term, and we shouldn't use it because it sounds outdated and disrespects the police. Whatever the complaint, people who want to avoid the term pig have worked hard to come up with an alternative and have usually failed. One of the reasons the term pig has stuck around in Skills for Change coaching is that it is a versatile word that lends itself to many uses. We might say, I'm pigging myself, I'm having a pig attack. I pigged him yesterday when he came home with a bad report card. Don't pig me about being late. My pig went crazy when my boss told me I was on probation. When it's tempting to judge ourselves because we see our pig but can't yet stop it, we remind ourselves, don't pig the pig. Because pig is 60s slang for the police, this versatility brings with it the added benefit of indicating the inherent link between internalized oppressive messages. When we label the pig in these internal voices and external transactions, we remind ourselves of the social norms and injunctions transmitted to us throughout our lives and gain power over our internal state through the distance the label provides. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the word pig today, and also what happens when we're pigging ourselves and why it's useful to label the pig. The language of the pig, initially can be jarring. It can seem like it's an imposition of strange jargon, and so I certainly had a response to it as well. I didn't personally have a problem with the language of the pig, but I thought when I started teaching it that it would be something that people wouldn't always like, and I wanted a universal term. But what I found was that every single replacement term that I came up with, the inner critic, voices of judgment, some of my clients have called the pig thief or bully, what happens is that the political aspect of the internalized oppression gets stripped away, and that loss is actually profound, because when we remember that these voices in our head are something that we are enacting an external set of values, something that's not us, then it's a lot easier to do something about those voices. And when we think it's part of ourselves, when we think this is an aspect of our self that is inherent to us, it can get a lot more difficult to make a distinction between the pig and our wise adult, or the pig and our child parts of us that have both the bodily responses of fear and wishes for safety, but also the bodily responses of passion and joy and laughter. So we're really looking for a language that helps us remember that it's not us, that this is something we learn in order to be safe. And the pig holds that for us. The versatility is an added benefit. I think we wouldn't have that word sticking around if it wasn't for the fact that it was so versatile. I often talk about these voices as cops in our head, rather than talking about them as the pig. I don't use that word with my clients unless it's a word that they've embraced, because I don't want to produce that jarring experience with them. But I do use the language cops in the head, and I remind people that these voices, this internalization of oppression, is something that isn't aligned with their own values. So we're very interested in that labeling process because it gives us a distance on the experience. It helps us know that this is external, it's not an internal. These aren't our values. And that process of figuring out what our values are, not what our pig says we should be doing, but what we want to be doing, that process is an inherently important and powerful experience. And when we figure out what we do want instead of what we don't want, then our lives are much more likely to change in a positive direction. Hope that helps.